I don't know how exactly to make these video reflections. This is something new for me. Doing level 2 performing arts last year, I did all of mine handwritten. So this is a new challenge, but I feel like I'm more comfortable talking with the camera and I can get a lot more out there doing actual video commentary than typing, because there was some times last term where I had to rewrite or re-go over or just have someone else in hand to help me, you know, punctuate and all that type of jazz. But I chose this way as a new way to start this year when it comes to reflections. Starting off the first 2 weeks, it was lovely to meet new people. It was nice to meet new people. The only thing when it comes to strengths and weaknesses is the strengths were meeting new people and getting to know more about them, you know, and stuff like that. That was already done. We pretty much knew each other and what we wanted to be within like the first 4 days. That was induction week. But it almost as if like it's taken an extra 2 weeks to making it 3 weeks of just like doing the standard and basic like ball games, learning each other's names and what we want to do with every single different teacher. Now I know in authority it's nice for every teacher to know who we are, what we want to do, but it would have just been so much easier if we just wrote it on a piece of paper or just literally binged it and just said, oh, hi, I'm Lewis and I want to be this, I'm Lewis, I want to be, hi, Lewis, I want to be, you know what I mean? Instead of actually having to play a ball game every single time, you know, there was some very, like, it was fun, like, to play games. We played games like Cat and Mouse, which is lovely, you know what I mean? It's a nice warm-up game. But there was one day we played it for 6 hours, which was ridiculous. You know, we all literally, we have a group chat, a Snapchat group chat, and even before this was created, because this is only a recent thing, like even before I came to this college, if anything, I grew more in social media just to stay in communicated with my year group. But we have a Snapchat group chat as a class, and it's nice to keep one. And we're all just kind of giving commentary, like by text message and voice notes, of how we actually feel the first few weeks has gone. And even the new people, you know, because I've been here already a year. I took the course before this one, so I did level 2 performing arts last year, and now level 3, level 1 acting. Level 3 year 1 acting. After I got my distinction grade. You know what I mean? Like, I was happy to redo it. I was happy to come back, and I really wanted to continue level 3. But even the new people, they were like, hey, man, how come we haven't, like, started anything properly yet? Why are we all still getting to know each other's names? You know, the new people, like, just knew more about us on, like, the first 2 days. And then by, like, 4 days, like, in the induction week, we knew everything about each other. You know, it was just like a constant repeat, and it's like we always was like we always felt we was being put to the side. And then in comes in work experience. Work experience, it was something that we didn't want to do. The project we didn't want to do. It was an experience though, and that's why it's called not only work experience, but just experience in general. You know, it gives you a rough idea of how, you know, how much choreography can be done in the space of 3.5 days. That was the exact amount of hours and we all put together. We got to thank the lovely Kathy Waller and also Gareth. Can't remember Gareth, but Kathy and Gareth were 2 teachers that came in, 2 choreographers. I think they were both dancing teachers. They both specialised in dancing rather than acting, they said. So obviously they would have had more favouritism over the dancing than they would have had in the acting. I personally like a nice challenge, and I know we're only a few weeks in, but, you know, I kind of would at least like wanted a challenge in the work experience, because there were moments where the actors all sat out for like 2-3 hours a day while the dancers do stuff. And we had work experience for about, I think it's about a week and a half we actually had work experience for. Could be like 2 weeks, I don't know, but it's anything between a week and 2 weeks long, maximum, minimum. And we had to learn monologues, and even the day before the show, now I know that I might sound a bit hypocritical because just I like to challenge, but they literally just, it's like the first 5 days of work experience, we did like jack, we did nothing. Basically, nothing that helped us as actors. It was mostly all directed at the dancers. The most that we did in 5 days was a warm-up, which we did with the dancers, but after that it was just sitting back and watching the dancers constantly. Not much was actually done until like 2 days before the show. So it was like 3 days, 4 days before the show, and we was all just thinking, like, even the dancers, like, what the hell are we going to be performing? What are we doing? Like, they never really even told anything. Do we bring our parents? Do we bring our friends? What's going on? Like, everyone's so, like, bloody confused, and we were like, what's going on? It was like so much stress and tension was in the air. It was just like, it got really, really hot in that room. It was like a proper sweaty studio because everyone's brains are just all over the place. I mean, all the dancers were getting stressed out and the new people were so confused, and we were sitting there like, hang on a minute, we didn't do this last year. Like, there was no work experience last year apart from actually working on performance nights such as in the theatre. I can't remember the actual names, but it was like Barrister. I worked in the box office. Not Barrister. Oh yeah, Barrister. I worked in the little bar area. I worked on the door, taking the tickets, and also in the box office. So, a bit different. But yeah, as actors, we just didn't feel we was one needed, one wanted, and two a part of this project. A lot of it was just dance based. Well, I mean, we was given monologues, but we were literally given them like 3 days. Well, not 3 days. We were literally given them like 2 days. Like, I say 2 days, but you think we've got a whole 24 hours in each day, but no. Literally, we was given them the day before the performance, and then the day of the performance, which is the 2 days. We actually had to learn them. And it was very hard to learn them because it was like my voice, my words were mumbling up, and it was just remembering everything, and then the choreography just started, putting it all together on the day. Like, literally, like 3 hours before the show, we actually put everything together, and there was so much like bits that was just messy and stuff like that, but we did get through it in the end. And I think for a performance that literally took 3.5 days in maximum time, it looked pretty sick. It did look pretty sick by the end of it. The song I really did like, and I chose to have the song playing over the start of this, because if you hear that song that was been playing for the start of this first reflection, then that is the actual song we have used in our performance. So it was a nice good song. It's a nice upbeat song, and it had a very good like bit of bass to it. So it was like when we did do the movement, it was like dun, like we literally like boom boom, like we kind of moved with the music. We created our impulse, feeling the sound and stuff. Now, talking of impulses, this is a whole nother subject. This is one thing that none of us really got. A teacher called Lucy came in, and we was learning about impulses and stuff like that. The first lesson, pretty cool, but by 3 lessons in with Lucy, it was just so like confusing, and words can't describe what we was all feeling. And when I say all, I mean the whole entire class. We literally was talking about whatever Lucy's lessons were supposed to be. We learned the same thing on the first day as what she must have said on the other 2 days. The first day with Lucy, we spent half an hour dancing, and you might think, oh, nice bit of cardio. But it was weird. We all was in a circle, and we all had to copy the same dance move for half an hour, and I thought, okay, I get what she's trying to do. It's supposed to be a warm-up, and it is a warm-up, you know, replicating in a whole massive unison circle what one person is doing. And you as a person put yourself to the test, you put your mind at rest, and you form what they're doing. Good idea, very good idea, and a nice bit of creativity. But half an hour of it, you know, that at least 20 minutes to half an hour could have been useful for something else. From the start of the first lesson, we literally just held each other's hand and went down in a crouching position. Then we literally spent a whole like hour doing that once we did like half an hour of that copying thing. So the first lesson, we knew that we wasn't really enjoying it. We really didn't know, but it's something you've got to do in order to pass the course, be a part of the course, and also just to continue in the industry. And we thought, okay, next week will be different, it'll be a bit better, you know, we might learn something, like we actually might learn something. And it was the thing that put us off most about Lucy, was just her attitude towards our students, towards her teaching. and she just put it all on the fact that she was Polish. That was her excuse. But you know what? In all defence, she was an alright teacher. You know, there was no bad blood, there was nothing, you know. Her lessons just needed to happen in order to complete the course. So we just took an advantage, and now Lucy has actually been gone now for about 2 weeks. So we only had her for the space of 3 lessons, 1 every week. So it wasn't a big deal. It's just the lessons did get very confusing, and I feel that she wasn't very well explanatory with her lessons. Like, she literally just told us to do things and that was it. I think the one fun thing that came out of it was probably trying to replicate the dances in unison. That was probably fun. Another thing probably was trust exercise that we actually did understand, and that was really good. That was in the last lesson, where basically you paired up with a partner, and one of you had to close your eyes, and the other partner would sort of drive you around the room, and you had to trust them with your eyes closed that your partner would take good care of you as if he was on stage and as if he was I can't ever say that word, choreographing them, there we go, in a mannerable way. Another thing that I have to say was Leanne's lesson. We looked more at Shakespeare and what it would need to be learning, and a few things we did look at, not just in Leanne's lesson, but also of what we actually have to complete this year as a whole, such as research of history and just stuff like that when it comes to acting. Also, we learned a lot about our deadlines and stuff like that. Also, certain people we need to look up, such as Samuel Beckett, and also maintaining a rehearsal journal. Now, we was explained that a lot of practitioners, a lot of actors, dancers, singers, they all carry a rehearsal journal, and we all thought that was a very good idea, and we found Leanne's lesson that day very, very intriguing, and we all learned a lot from that lesson. We also shortly before knew and learned that we was actually planning a trip to New York City next year for Christmas in December, so that is absolutely fantastic. We were so excited on the group chat. We're like, we go over New York, you know, get to see Broadway, explore the area, go as a massive group, because this is the thing, I love Nescott Performing Arts. Not even just the course, the people, the teachers. I love the teachers. They are so motivating, it's unreal. Carly, Leanne, Hayley, you know, even just people like Rebecca, Sophie, Stevie, Emily. Is it Emily? It's Emma. And the other teacher, Jamie, that's it, Jamie. If I missed out a teacher, I'll feel very, very bad. I haven't missed out one, have I? If I have, I'm very sorry. I know you and I love you. But honestly, it's even like not even just the teachers, but the students in that block, even just the new people, within a day, like within an hour of knowing each other, we were literally like, oh, we're going to listen to some music, we're listening to music in the hallway. You know, you can totally just see that whole entire block having one big party with each other. Like every block, like most teenagers, there's always feuds between people, so it's like every day is like a new episode of EastEnders going on in the block, you know what I mean? But hey, they don't say drama for nothing. We are in a drama department, so what can we say? You know what I mean? But I feel like since I've been there, I've learned a lot with the new students, which is good, because when you learn with someone and don't act like Mr. Know-It-All because you was there a year before. Yeah, honestly, it's such a nice block to be around, such a nice people, such nice teachers to give you that motivation. Much better than the teacher. So that's just had to put that one out there. Something new that we have to do. We went to see a play called Romeo and Juliet at the Stockwell Playhouse, and AJC or ACJ? ASJ, that's it. Boom. ASJ came to talk with us, who is a director. Doesn't really call herself an actor, but she was an actor in this one because she didn't want to pay for an extra part, who literally she could do by herself and did a very good job of it. All the performers did a very good work. I got emotional and cried into Romeo and Juliet, like I would as a very emotional person. But it was definitely a really, really great performance, and I highly recommend it. And it's also on my critique, so you can go and read my full review on my critique. Maybe it is critique, maybe it's not. I think it's critique, but if it's not on critique, then it's not revelation. Either that, it's one of the two. Yes, so when ASJ came to visit, we took some notes down of what she said, and I found her conversations most stimulating. I learned a lot about drama schools, I learned a lot about money, actors, just directing, so much I learned about. And she gave us a bit of an input as we are studying Shakespeare. And this is just some facts that I have written down in the lesson. So, hundreds of years of history. Shakespeare is so precious. It's got hundreds of years of history, galleries of art, choreographers, written work, coursework. So much comes into Shakespeare. You just can't afford to make a mistake. You've got to give it a full work on it. Also, a dark passenger. A dark passenger who is inside of you, and it's that the person you are underneath your skin. Like, example, mannerisms, anything like that. Like, for instance, my dark side who is inside of me, and we've all got one. I could use that to portray a dark role. For instance, if I was playing the role of the Joker, I could easily just pull out my dark side, you know what I mean? Whatever is inside of you, you can always use it to portray roles and create characters and stuff like that. And ASJ really did teach me personally a lot about that. We also spoke about our roles in general. For instance, I'm playing Lord Capulet in one of my monologues, which is in Act 1, sorry, squeaky chair, Act 1, Scene 5. And it's basically where he's at a party and he's trying to get women to dance, and he's talking about like Romeo, and then he meets Romeo, and he's actually quite fond of Romeo, which is very, very interesting, especially judging throughout the whole entire story and how the story actually ends. It's quite an odd thing to think about. But I learned a lot about how he is with his daughter and what he actually wants. Like, he always wants his daughter protective. He's an overprotective father. He's also a businessman. And even just little things, like I love Romeo and Juliet, but we're even just naming things of how we actually see these characters. Like, we're just naming actors that we think would be perfect for these roles. And it just shows that sometimes the world can be judgmental, but it needs to be. We was thinking about who would actually fit the roles, and the first thing that me and ASJ both said was Leonardo DiCaprio, because that is the first person that comes to mind with Romeo. And then we judged the characters in the class. Mine was Lord Capulet, of course. Toby's was Romeo. Gemma was Juliet. So it was a mixture of suggestions that was just chucked in the fire, literally chucking all the books into the fire. It was actually a blast being taught by SJ, and actually having a lesson with her was just incredible. And I'm very thankful for it, and hopefully I get to work with her one day, which is going to be incredible. But yeah, not much has really happened in the first few weeks. That's why there's not really much to reflect on. Usually I'm one of those types of people that can go all out and start rambling and will never stop rambling. But not much has been learned yet, so it's the best you're gonna get. Thank you for watching one of my reflections, one of my first reflections. I would actually call this my second or third reflection, because I've already done 2 reflections based on the first week and the second week back. So this would be my third reflection. Thank you, and I'll see you in the fourth.